It's a great pleasure meeting you, really. I only wish it were under different circumstances.
Oh, believe me, so do I.
Here we are.
Oh, no, I'd rather sit up front with you.
I'd rather you sit in the back.
Oh, Mr. Philly, you're not my chauffeur. It'll be much easier to chat.
I really must insist.
Jessica, please. Emma! Hello, cousin. Welcome to London.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sean.
And Steve.
And welcome to episode 2 of the, I almost said Columbo Confab again, of the Cabot Cove Confab. Yes. And today, we have something to talk about. Before we get to the episode itself, Sing a Song of Murder, which does not take place in Cabot Cove except for like 5 seconds. But,
No.
yeah, we have announcements. Announcements!
Really?
Steve, what would you like to... What?
No,
Okay.
I thought you would have some, like, special intro music for the announcements.
No,
but
I'm not going to look for that. Then I got to put it in every episode, and it's hard enough putting in the sound of the... When you spin the wheel, it's... Oh, you have no idea.
Well, I typically don't listen to these things, but I actually downloaded the first episode of the Cabot Cove Confab. That's the name, not Columbo Confab, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know. But I actually listened to it, and it was really good. And I love the theme music that you picked. That was very good.
Yeah, that was...
So I'm patting you on the back.
Well, I didn't make that, but I stole that off of YouTube. Somebody put it up on YouTube like 10 years ago, and so I don't know how to contact the person because I don't think you can do that on they don't give you a way to do that on YouTube. So yeah,
We'll have to give him some of the royalties from the show.
We don't have any royalties on the show. I do want to...
Wait a minute. How are you paying me? I don't understand.
Oh, in credits. Yeah.
Oh, credits. Okay.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want. Monopoly money. How's that? Okay, so we're recording this on Labor Day, which I don't know why that would matter, but I just want to say this is the I don't know how many podcasts that I've done. I think this is like the 7th, with or without Steve, and we had, I can't believe it, 5 reviews on Apple Podcasts already. Okay.
Wow.
10 people left reviews total, but 5 of them left written reviews. And I must promise, if you leave a written review, I will read it on the air, or whatever we want to call this. And I'm not going to read them all right now, but I'm going to save the last 2 for next episode. But I'll read the first 3 right now. I'll make the readers sit through this instead of saving it until the end when I'm too drunk to do it. Okay. First one was sent by Teal Puppy 8. Now, these are only the American U.S. podcasts. I don't have access yet to, like, the U.K. This person left a 4 out of 5 star review and says, "I'm so happy." That's it. That's the review. So, if you're so happy, why didn't you leave a 5-star review? And why did you leave a 4-star? I'm not going to get into it. Okay.
Because they didn't say they were extremely happy.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Then there would be, yeah. All right, so the next one is left by Norma Jean Forever. That's, is that Marilyn Monroe or Princess Di?
That it? No, it's Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
That was her real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I get it mixed up because I think of the singer Elton John song, because when Princess Di died, he did the... Anyway, who cares?
Well, yeah, that song was about Marilyn Monroe, but when she died, he rewrote it.
Okay. For her. Cool. All right. A new confab, they say. As a Columbo fan, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to Steve and Sean discuss each episode of everyone's favorite detective. I also listened to each episode of the Horror and Sci-Fi podcast. Their conversations were sometimes the best part of the breakdown of some truly horrible movies. Sean and Steve will now return to the mystery genre, making connections to Columbo, Link, and Levison, and taking us down their wonderful rabbit holes. So thank you. That was nice. That was a fun.
Yay.
And I know this is extremely masturbatory, but this is just a way to get people to write in so they can. This is Diamond Bed 86. Steve, good thinking on Diamond Bed. What's that from? Good thinking on Diamond. Good thinking on Diamond Head.
I don't know.
Remember Murder by Death? Anyway,
Yes.
The title is I Am So Excited. I missed you guys. I listened to the Columbo Compad podcast, but was too chicken to follow the Scary Movie podcast. I'll be listening. Okay. Listen. Yeah, go watch Terrifier. I think it's on. It's on Shudder.
It's a comedy.
It's probably the goriest movie we covered on that.
It's got a clown in it. It'll make you laugh.
Yeah, it will.
It'll have you splitting down your sides in laughter. In that podcast, we would sometimes share certain movies that we had seen but weren't necessarily covered by the podcast on the podcast. I just want to say, that's Labor Day weekend, and I spent the majority of the weekend watching and rewatching this show that's on. It's a Peacock exclusive. I actually had to sign up for the $5 a month Peacock subscription. Okay. And that is the 6-part, almost maybe 4-hour documentary about John Wayne Gacy. Because for you readers that don't know, I have a special connection with John Wayne Gacy. Not to the man himself, but just the topic, because he lived and killed in Norwood Park. And I grew up in Norwood Park, Illinois. It's part of Chicago. I lived less than a mile away from where John Wayne Gacy killed all those boys. And what year was that, by the way?
He was arrested in 1978. But I didn't live there until 1983. So I was a little bit too young to, he killed several kids that went to my high school, Taft, William Howard Taft High School in Norwood Park. In fact, they show a picture of the high school in the documentary, and they show the Kennedy Expressway off Sayre Avenue, which is exactly where I live. And I saw my grandma's condo in an aerial shot that they did. I was so... And I didn't know this, but I lived even closer to his mother because they thought that he had buried some bodies at his mother's apartment. So absolutely obsessed. I'm going to have to figure out how to cancel my account now because I'm done watching it as of today. I did take a break to watch some Murder, She Wrote. But, And I've been watching one more thing. And you know what? I am willing to bet that 80% of the readers have already seen Downton Abbey. The show is 10 years old. Okay, so what happens here at the Sean household is we watch TV at night, or I will go into my man cave and maybe play video games with the likes of some bum like you, and then I'll go back in and watch TV with my partner Tom. Well, he has suddenly found that he likes to watch Downton Abbey, and I'm like, okay, whatever. We tried watching that years ago, and you were like, this is boring, and so I'm watching this. And, I have no expectations of this show. I'm like, okay, well, this is nice. It's kind of like, one of my Agatha Christie murder mysteries, except there's no murder in it, and there's these rich people. And I got to tell you, there are certain scenes that affected me, certain death scenes that have affected me, usually in good ways, like King Joffrey in Game of Thrones. When he bit the dust, I was like, whoo-hoo-hoo, or... the main bad guy in Breaking Bad. But so there's in Gosford Park, this lady's pregnant, and the doctor she's having the baby at home, and the doctor is worried she may have preeclampsia. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I know, yawn. Mm-hmm. Well, she has the baby. The baby is healthy, but she has preeclampsia, and she goes into a seizure, and she dies in front of her whole family. And I thought I was going to kill myself. I'm like, this is too depressing. I never wanted... And now I'm watching it. I've been sucked in by just how dramatic this show is. It was the saddest death that I've seen on TV since something I can't remember, but I thought of it earlier. So, yeah, I would totally recommend that to anybody who hasn't watched it. But it's on Netflix. But we don't watch things on Netflix anymore. That's not what this is about anymore. It's about Murder, She Wrote, and that you can watch on Peacock for free with limited commercials. Okay. I'm done venting about that and how I've been tricked.
Thanks for sharing that. Well, so I'll give you an update on something I said on last episode. I wanted to try some dandelion wine, right?
Oh, yes! Yes!
So I went to two places, two kind of larger warehouse kind of liquor stores that we have. So anyway, one of the places I went to was Specs. I believe they have those in Austin, don't they?
Yeah, there's one right down the road from us, but we don't go there. We go to Total Wine & More because it's cheaper.
Right. So Specs didn't have it. As a matter of fact, they looked at me like I was mentally challenged. So I decided to go to Total Wine, and I only went to Specs because it was near a grocery store that I was going shopping for, or going shopping at. So it was there. What the hell? They didn't have it. But I do remember looking up last week on my phone, and there was a listing from Total Wine that they had dandelion wine. So I'm like, oh, well, we'll have it there. So I go up to the, what do you call the people that know everything about wine? There's like a little stand that you can go to and talk to somebody, tell them what you're looking for and the type of wine or whatever, and they'll give you some suggestions. So I go up to that and I say, look, I'm looking for dandelion wine. And I said, what's that? So I had to explain what it was. And I said, look, I've got the listing from your webpage that you have this product. They looked at it. They pulled it up on their internal, I guess, inventory computer.
Please,
nope,
please,
never seen it.
Wait, please tell me that you told them you saw it on Murder, She Wrote.
No, I did not bring that up. And she goes, well, we've got some fruit wine, but we don't have dandelion.
Okay,
wine.
Moira
so
Rose.
We proceeded to have a conversation about fruit wine, and she told me, look, there's a website you can go to. There's a vineyard. It's a vineyard in New Jersey that makes dandelion wine. They bring the muskmelon goodness to all their Chardonnays and Jasmine peach, crab apples. I'm reading that off of Schitt's Creek, but anyways, they did not have dandelion wine. I cannot find dandelion wine, so I was very disappointed. I was hoping to have it and drinking it for this podcast. But that was a no-go.
But it's on their website.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
It is, and I was told why that's not on. That's not a legitimate thing. So apparently, they explained how Google works to me. But it says Total Wine in stock. Whatever. It's not at that location apparently.
You have to go and order it from Herb Ertlinger. The Dandelion Moira Rose special one. No, that's
right.
The later episode. If you enjoy fruit wine as much as I do, I love that episode, by the way. I'm sorry, this isn't the Schitt's Creek episode.
No, it's not. I actually did watch that episode with my wife a couple of days ago, so.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a good one.
Catherine O'Hara, by the way, I think would have made a great Columbo murderer. You think about it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
But we're not talking about Schitt's Creek.
No.
We're talking about Murder, She Wrote.
Yes, we're talking about another.
And I like to think that Sing a Song of Murder is a cross between Coronation Street and Disney's Parent Trap.
Okay. Question. Do you, when you watch it on Peacock, do they have the whole, tonight on Murder, She Wrote, and they have clips of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I started it, I watched that, and I'm like, oh, this is going to fucking, no, not this. Please not this. You didn't, they're fucking doing this. Basically, Angela Lansbury plays J.B. Fletcher and her, Irish cousin, Emma McGill. And I'm like, oh my...
Oh, wait.
We'll get there.
Angela Lansbury... Wait, I didn't know she played J.B. Fletcher. Oh my gosh. I thought she was just playing Emma McGill. Wow. Mind blown.
But there's people in this that we'll talk about that you should...
There's people, yes.
Yeah, that you should recognize from other things that we've seen.
Yeah. Patrick McNee.
Patrick McNee is in it. I guess we got to do the standard set up the characters type thing and explain who they are.
Sure.
We have Emma McGill, who is a singer, kind of a good singer.
Identical cousin to Jessica Fletcher. So,
spoiler: she's played by Angela Lansbury, and they have this little review show at the Mayhew Theatre in London, and another actor there, comedian, is Patrick McNee as Oliver Trumbull. And he's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
The thing opens with him doing his act, and he sucks. Nobody is laughing.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
I wasn't laughing.
I didn't even understand what he was saying.
And then we have his daughter.
Okay,
Kitty.
Kitty. Now, did you recognize Kitty?
I recognized her voice. I didn't look her up on IMDb, but there was something that kind of reminded me. Like I said, it was her voice that I was hitting on. Why? What else was she in?
She has been in two things that you've seen. One a long time ago. One for the podcast, the old podcast. She was Bill's wife in the original TV movie of It, and she was the lady in Black Christmas. She was the main protagonist in that one. Remember when she picks up the phone? Hello, hello, hello.
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her. Black Christmas. I think that was her first big thing. No. Her first big thing was Romeo and Juliet in the 60s. She played Juliet when she was probably underage. So, yeah. So, she's older now. Well, everybody's older now. Okay. Speaking of old people, Emma has, what would you call her right-hand lady, her helper, her assistant, I guess. Lady named Bridget O'Hara.
O'Hara, yeah.
Yeah. And this is...
What about her?
This is played by a lady named Glynis Johns. And did she look familiar at all?
No, not really.
Why? Believe it or not, she was the mom in Mary Poppins, the movie. And she looked old in that. That was in the 60s. She looks okay.
That's weird because some of the... I don't know why this episode reminded me of Mary Poppins. I don't know if it was just the filming, the quality, or some of the people sounded like they were voice actors. But I got a Mary Poppins vibe in this one.
Oh yeah, there's a Dick Van Dyke voice in this, and I think it's from an Englishman, from all I can tell. But Glynis Johns is still alive today at the ripe old age of 98. So she's older than Betty White, Dick Van Dyke, and Angela Lansbury. Not put together, but, on her own. We have Archie, who is co-owner of the theater with Emma, and his wife, Violet, who I instantly distrust and thought she might be the murderer, because, they always put it on some side character, that you don't see very much sometimes. And, and what happens?
Well... Yeah, so Oliver and Emma seem to have a good friendship / romance thing going. And after their performance, they decide to go out to get a pint.
Oh, wait, can I ask you a question really quick? Did you look at the audience members in this little production?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should bring up. So when Emma goes out to sing her little song, it was "Goodbye, Little Yellow Bird," which I think I would have walked. I'm sorry, it's just not my kind of music. But in the audience, we see Sid Vicious. I'm kidding. I don't know that. I'm 100% sure it wasn't actually Sid Vicious. It was just a guy that had all punked, 80s punk rock look to him when he was on a date.
Yeah,
and they were enjoying "Goodbye, Little Yellow Bird," sung by Angela Lansbury in a Cockney accent.
Yeah, and an obvious... Well, she was in Sweeney Todd. That was one... She was in Sweeney Todd where she sang with a Cockney accent like that. And also she played Auntie Mame. I know because I was in Auntie Mame in high school. And she also was in... maybe... There's been other things she's been in. I just can't remember off the top of my head. She was in something else that I thought of too. It's not important, but... yeah.
Yeah, but but what Archie's wife was saying was basically, it was either Archie's wife or Kitty, saying this place, the Mayhew Musical Hall, it's good days are long gone, and we need to sell it to this one group. It's the best price we've seen. We need to act now. And of course, Emma doesn't want to sell. She still thinks people are going to come. We just got a dry spell. Let's just wait it out another year. Everything will be back to where it was. We'll be making money again. And old Archie, he's like, we got an offer now, and we're not going to last a few months.
Right.
So there's a lot of potential murder people that will or not murder, potential killers here. So we're already seeing Archie has a motive. Like you said, the wife. Really, those are the only two. Maybe Emma's helper.
Yeah.
I don't. But yeah. So they go out. They go out for the dinner. The show's over. So
Wait,
they're going out for I guess a nightcap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
What?
Well, no.
Oh, no. It
has to do with this scene that you're about to talk about.
So Emma is going to. I guess Oliver forgets his wallet, so he goes back inside, and he's going to meet her at the pub. So Emma's walking down the alleyway, and a car barrels down to hit her and misses. And I like how, obviously it's a stunt double that's jumping out of the way of a moving car. There's no way Angela Lansbury, I mean, she's a pretty spry woman, but I'm sorry, that was a really well done stunt. Let's put it that way. Like she literally climbed up a wall to get away from this car.
Very quickly, and then falls down like on the floor or on the ground, like flat in her face. And Oliver, Patrick Meany coming out. Oh dear, what's the matter? What's the matter, my dear? And she's like, oh, it's probably just a drunk driver. I don't think she's very smart. But I'm going to tell you,
she knows. She just didn't want to worry Oliver.
I guess
because
so.
We found out later there's been like 3 weeks worth of attempts on her life. I think she was very aware.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
That was yeah, I think she was very aware that this was another attempt, and that's why she did what she's about to do.
Okay,
her genius plan.
Okay, I'm on board with that. All right, very good, very good. But I'm going to tell you, when this happens, I immediately think, oh, it's going to be Oliver. Mm-hmm. It's going to be that somebody else was in the car, but Oliver's going to be the murderer.
Really?
That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, that was a red herring.
Well, yeah. He knew to go inside. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
I'm not saying that he was behind the wheel. I'm saying that maybe somebody else tried to kill her, but he was the end. Yeah, he was the one that ended up doing it at the end. So, all right. So, Jessica.
Let's point out nobody's. Yeah. So go ahead.
There's no murder yet in this Murder, She Wrote episode. No, but you know what there is? For the first time on the Cabot Cove confab, we get to see Cabot Cove for about 45 seconds.
I gotta say, okay, yeah, this episode primarily takes place in London, England, not Cabot Cove, Maine. I've watched a few episodes here and there that this whatever kind of fancies my, Pushing Up Roses might. I like watching her videos, but I refuse to watch them now because I don't want to be spoiled. Mm-hmm. So if it's something I want to see that she's going to talk about, I'll go watch it and then come back. And Sean, I haven't seen an episode that takes place in Cabot Cove yet.
Okay, now
Cabot Cove comes up. They might do maybe they go back to her home from New York City or what was the one? Where were they last week?
In Wyoming.
Wyoming, yeah, 50 Mile. So I'm not seeing the connection, and I'm really looking for because one of the conspiracy theories that really kind of drew my attention to Murder, She Wrote before we started doing this was the theory that she's the serial killer. Right?
Oh my God!
It all takes place in Cabot Cove.
People who think that Mrs. Columbo doesn't exist.
All right, so I'm just going to ignore that. I don't. But my point being is that so far, I haven't seen an episode that takes place in Cabot Cove.
Okay, so here's the deal.
I'm getting blue balled.
Okay.
Cabot Cove.
All right. Look, I'm not going to fix the wheel to land on something that's in Cabot Cove. But frankly, if I see a list of episodes, for the most part, I can't tell which ones are in Cabot Cove or not. But I did some research.
Because the last one I watched took place in California. Mm-hmm. So I just... Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did some research. I actually Googled this. I actually Googled it. I went to wine, beer, and Total Beer and Wine, and I asked them, "Could you show me how to Google this?" But no. It turns out it turns out there's only about 4 or 5 episodes every season that take place in Cabot Cove. The vast majority of the episodes take place someplace else. Okay.
Interesting. Okay, I was under the impression that the majority of the episodes were in Cabot Cove.
No. And I was under that impression. I was under the impression that the majority of the episodes, like in the first 3 seasons, were in Cabot Cove, because later on she goes to Hollywood and she goes to Rome. She goes everywhere.
The episode I saw yesterday was like from season 10.
Yeah. You were telling me you were watching the VR episode, the infamous virtual reality episode.
Yes.
I don't remember anything about that except a vision of her in the famous picture of her doing the VR, and it's terrible VR.
Right.
It's awful. Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, we'll talk about that when the time comes. But
so
yes.
Jessica's at home. She's polishing her dining room table with some lemon pledge. Oh, no, lemon pledge.
I love lemon pledge.
Lemon pledge.
I can smell that all day.
Oh, no. Lemon pledge. Well, who's that? That's the maid from Family Guy. No.
I didn't know you had a maid. Oh, from Family Guy. Okay.
Yeah. So Jessica gets a call from Emma's solicitor and says that unfortunately she died in an untimely accident, and Jessica's politely like, oh, that's so terrible. If someone called me and told me my cousin had died, I would be... Well, then again, I'm in my 40s, and Jessica's in her... Well, hell, she's in her 50s.
But would you be like, okay, I'm going to... Now, tickets, I'm sure, were way more expensive back then. Now, I would think that if someone said, oh, your cousin from London has died, you'd be like, I'm getting on a plane right now. I'm hoping that Emma paid for that. Or there was some money... explained away that, because I would be pissed if I went all the way to London and find out the little trick that Emma had designed for this.
Okay,
I would have been really pissed.
That's got to be a $3,000 ticket, even in the 80s, at the last minute. But you know what? Jess is rich. She is famous. In fact,
is she?
Yeah,
she's famous, but she lives in Maine, so of course, yeah.
So she's met at the airport by this guy with a horrible Cockney accent. In fact,
Danny Briggs.
Yeah, and he gets the award for A, most obvious suspect, which means he didn't do it, and B, I had to look him up to make sure I thought he was American. No, he's actually English.
I thought he was an American with a British accent too, and he was one of the reasons I thought of Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
He was one of the cartoon characters.
But
talk with a accent. Oh yes,
but he doesn't.
I'm
even,
a weasel or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, he's obviously.
I didn't even do that right.
He's like a thug. Can we say thug? He's like in the mob. But this guy just was horribly cast. He doesn't look.
Did the gold chain give it away?
Yeah. He looks like a schoolboy. This guy is the terrible casting of this man in this role.
I really thought he was an American. Okay.
And I looked him up. IMDb did not list his birthplace, but it does say that he currently has a production company in the UK. So I'm going to assume that he's English. Oh,
now my impression of the set pieces and the backgrounds, you see, there's a couple of aerial shots, which could have been easily done. They could have purchased those. But there's a couple of scenes, in the street, where it looks a little off. There's a silk screen for for Big Ben in the background and stuff like that. It doesn't look. So did they film this episode in the U.S.? I'm assuming.
I looked it up because.
Or did they actually?
I wanted to know if it was the same theater that they filmed Columbo at when Columbo went to London. But no, this was all set on a stage at Universal Studios, except for the stock footage aerial shots. So when they're like are you talking like in front of the theater? Yeah. There's obviously a backdrop. Yeah. It fooled me. It fooled me. I really thought it was in the London street.
It's slightly off.
Yeah.
And I just want to say the video quality. You asked me last time about the video quality on Peacock. This one was noticeably grainier.
Really?
Than the last episode. Yeah.
I did an experiment. The DVDs look the same as Peacock. There is no upgrade.
That's probably the best quality that's there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they were thinking about high def TV.
Yeah.
When they were recording this stuff. But
so it turns out.
Yeah. So Jessica arrives.
So yeah, her solicitor Ernest picks Jessica up at the airport, which Heathrow Airport. I don't think it was like that back in the day. It probably was more busy, and I don't know, anybody with a car could just pull up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And I'm you know what, Ernest is another character I'm suspicious of because he's supposed to be a friend, an ally, and those kinds of people always turn out to be the murderer. So turns out that Emma's in the back and she's like, "I'm alive, Jessica." And Jessica is a little bit pissed, but she doesn't show it because she's a lady. So
she's like, "I just fucking spent $3,000 to go to your fucking funeral." So I would be asking about that.
Yeah. Emma, why didn't you pick up the phone and call me instead of faking your own death?
Shit. Because
you fucking bitch, Emma. And I don't like your lipstick either. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Emma's lipstick is very distracting. I don't know about you, but I was comparing and contrasting it. Whenever we would see Emma and Jessica on screen together, or when they would do that fake, like from back of the head, they would have a stand-in for someone that has the same haircut as Jessica. Yeah, but when you would see their faces, side by side in a scene cut back and forth, I really liked how Angela Lansbury looks as Jessica way more than how she looks as Emma, which is red hair and a lot of makeup.
Yeah. Let's make her up to be a tart.
She looks like a streetwalker,
like the old, washed-up, drunk kind that you'd see, like at the in the background of a Dickens movie or Les Miserables or something. Yeah, master of the house, la 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 la. I always get a big kick out of whenever they go out to eat or drink. And Jessica is very reserved. And they have tea. And Emma's like, "Oh, 1 lump or 2." And Jessica's like, "No, just a little bit of milk for me." And then there's a scene later on when she's having dinner. And, of course, she's always drinking white wine. And she's like, "Oh, no, thank you. I've had enough." Like, no. Like, she's... Yeah, anyway. I keep noticing that every time I see one of these episodes. But... I'm sorry, keep going.
She doesn't drink or eat very often? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she's very... Well, she's probably like that in real life. That's why she's turned out to live to like 93 years old or however old Angela is now.
So we find out that at the airport or in the car that Emma wants Jessica to find out who's trying to kill her. That was her reason to bring her to London, all the way to London. Jessica decides she's going to employ the help from someone from Scotland Yard named Inspector Kyle. So I don't know if there was an episode where an Inspector Kyle was in the episode. Like, how did she know his name? I'm assuming that that's a callback to another episode somewhere.
I bet you, yes.
Okay, but instead she finds Inspector Crimmins, which is funny to me. She opens the door looking for Inspector. This is at the New Scotland Yard. And she opens the door looking for Inspector Kyle. But on the door, when she opens it, it says Inspector Crimmins.
Yeah,
did she think Inspector Kyle would be in Crimmins' office?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
And by the way, is it normal for just any old American to be allowed to just walk up to New Scotland Yard and wander around the halls like there's no security?
Right?
Anyway.
I was wondering that too.
Okay.
Do you have an appointment, ma'am? No. I'm looking for an Inspector Kyle. I'm sorry, he's on holiday. You'll have to come back. Okay. I wouldn't think there'd be just walk around, see what you can find. Help yourself to some coffee, tea.
There's no
donuts,
bodyguard, security. There's no lady at the front desk. What are you looking for, Mal? Inspector Kyle. Oh, I'm so... No, just walk around. Do as you will. It's just one of the biggest... yeah.
Didn't make much sense.
So they have...
But anyway, so Jessica... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we're just talking over each other tonight.
No, it's all good. It's normal for... Cribbins is a fan. He recognizes her. And he decides he's going to help her.
Yes.
Because he's old, and he thinks they're trying
Is there ever an episode where they don't recognize her? Because that helps her more times than not.
Well,
I'd be like... I would love it if she goes up to a police officer and he goes, "Oh, I'm Jessica Fletcher. I write the mystery novels." And they go, "Who the fuck are you again?" Like, I never heard of you.
Well, he's the only one that recognizes her in this whole episode. Everybody else is like, oh, they don't know who she is. They didn't.
No,
they don't know.
Danny Briggs, the mob guy, he had her book. That's how he recognized her.
Oh,
he's a fan.
How did he know?
Because he had a book. How did he find out?
Yeah,
that she was arriving.
Yeah,
because everybody talks. Everybody talks. Apparently.
Yeah, we find that out later on too. Well, there's this great scene where they're having a memorial for Emma. And because
the wake,
they haven't found her body yet because she just drove her car off a bridge or something, and
did the stunt double do that too? Because I just don't see Angela, hitting the accelerator and jumping out the last second. I just don't see it.
Well, I think Ernest helped her, quite frankly. And then they announced that she was missing, and so they're having this little memorial. And I'm still trying to figure out. No one's been killed yet. And when someone is killed, you're surprised at who it is, and then this one really made me, I kept thinking and looking for clues and everything, and sometimes it takes a while to get to, I'm reading a mystery novel right now, I'm like 95 pages into it, and no one is dead. I know who's going to die because it's so obvious, but it's like, get on with the murder, alrighty. But I love that they're at this memorial, and then Jessica walks in with Ernest, the solicitor, and everybody's shocked.
The music stops?
Yeah, the music stops!
Yeah. It's like someone rips the needle off the record. And she walks in. And I don't know about you, Sean, but my initial... if I was at that wake, knowing that Emma is an actress, I'd be like, holy shit, there she is. And she's pretending to be a Yankee. Or a New Yorker. And we all know that's really her because they look identical. All she did was she cut her hair and dyed it. That's her.
That's exactly what I thought. But then I thought, well, maybe they don't expect her to put her makeup on that well, so it can't be her. She must. Yeah, if she wasn't with the lawyer, they wouldn't believe her. They'd be, no, you're Emma. You've got to be Emma. So
it's like you hear about these like silver alerts that we have here in America, and those are notifications that go off at 3 a.m. in the morning when an old person usually has a memory loss, like dementia or something.
We shouldn't laugh at that.
And they go missing, which is it's very sad. I'm not making fun of that. I'm more disturbed at the fact that these things go off at 3 a.m. in the morning because everybody's sleeping. No one's going to look at their damn phone. They're going to turn it off.
Yeah.
Because they're half awake. But anyways, so we get those all the time, and old people just they forget who they are, where they belong. They're just driving around. They're joyriding. They probably go downtown looking for some strippers or something. I don't know what old people do when they forget who they are.
Well,
do they think they're like, I'm 20 years old. I'm going to go pick up some. I don't know.
I'm gonna go pick up Emma at the theater. She's in Anyway,
I mean that's what I would have thought. Also, if that's on Emma acting, then she's lost her mind.
Yeah. I mean, she seemed a little touched in the first place. So, I just want to say, so Jessica then proceeds to go sleuthing. She's already talked to Inspector Cribbins at Scotland Yard. Wait, is it Cribbins? Cribbins or like Bernard Cribbins?
It's oh shit. Now you got me wondering.
Wait, what did I write down?
Crimmins.
This is an odd coincidence.
Crimmins. C-R-I. Crimmins.
Crimmins. Oh, I was hoping it would be Cribbins because this actor who plays him was in the movie Doctor Who and the Daleks with Bernard Cribbins. So,
really,
he plays a character I couldn't recognize the name of the character, and I've never seen that movie, so I'm ashamed to say.
So, okay, that's interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was be Inspector Clouseau, but whatever.
By the way, that actor, he was his most famous.
Is it Clouseau or Clouseau?
Clouseau. Caruso is somebody different. His first role, the role that he's the most famous for, and I should have written his name down, but I did not. His most famous role is Basil of Baker Street from The Great Mouse Detective. Like, if you look him up on IMDb, that's the first thing that comes up. So, yeah, that's who he played.
That was a Disney animation film, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was he and Vincent Price played the lead roles. And when I hear that Vincent Price was like the lead in The Great Mouse Detective, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to see that. I'll be darned. Okay, there's a Columbo connection in this that I just noticed right now. Jessica decides she's going to start sleuthing, so she goes and rummages rudely through Emma's dressing room. I don't know why she's looking through Emma's dressing room, because...
What's she going to find, really?
And makeup. I don't know.
I don't think the murderer is hiding in her jewelry drawer.
No, or there might be a murderer's can of or jar of cream there that might be used to kill somebody. You know, harkening back to Columbo. But harkening back to Columbo again, there is a number of pictures and drawings on the wall, and one of them is from Columbo, the episode with the art critic who murders his uncle and his girlfriend to get a hold of these watercolors.
Yeah,
and the watercolors are hanging on the wall.
No, sir.
In Emma's dressing room. I kid you not. Obviously, they're not originals, but prints. So they use the same.
What?
And I've seen those prints in other movies and shows too. She talks to her assistant, Bridget O'Hara, and Bridget's like, right. Well, I'm in Emma's will, and I deserve some things, and I just wanted to make sure and all that, and really, the reason for this scene is that we find out that Bridget is not long for this world, so we have to have a short scene, tack on another scene with her in it.
Right, and she's very...
Yeah, then what happens? Please tell us.
She's very suspicious of Angela, by the way. She does not trust her. Okay, so Kitty, this is Oliver's daughter, wants her father to kind of move on. She's always felt... She's never been a really huge fan of Emma, which should be something to take notice of, it's got to say. But she wants her father to kind of get away from the music hall, the Mayhew, and kind of find his own career path, because she felt like he was leaning on Emma too much. So she's been kind of forcing him, like, you need to go to these auditions, you need to go, and so she's really trying to get him out there, which is respectable, right? And we found out he's been working at the Mayhew for, what do you say, 17 years?
Yeah.
13 years? Something like that.
And he's bad.
So he just... Well, obviously, his acting, I guess, has gone downhill over the years.
So, Inspector Crimmins and Jess, they decide that they're going to stake out Emma's apartment, and they see somebody in a leopard coat come running out, and she gets hit and killed by a little yellow sports car. Now, okay, right. And she's killed. Now...
Yeah, we finally have somebody die in this episode. Now, how far in we are? I would say, about halfway through?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad that someone did die. I'm glad that someone did die. And
you're just glad someone died, finally. It is called Murder, She Wrote, not Attempted Murder, She Wrote.
Exactly. Now, it did cross my mind at some point that the murderer could be Emma, because maybe she knew that was Bridget, and she ran her down. But that was a Columbo episode, so I don't think they would do that. But nobody looks for a little red sports car throughout the rest of the show. It's like, hello.
Yellow.
Oh, a little yellow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think the important fact is that in Jessica becomes acutely aware of it at this point, that the killer knows that Emma is actually still alive. Because why else would they try to run over somebody they thought was Emma?
Right.
Because it looked like Emma running out of the apartment.
Right.
And so that was the intended target.
But they come to find out that everybody suspects this anyway, which, I don't know, Archie's hanging around Scotland Yard because they just let anybody in, as we mentioned. And he suspects because some sergeant of his let him know that Emma's still alive, or Emma, and so obviously this leaked somehow. And Emma mentions, lo and behold, the one person she told was Oliver. She couldn't resist talking to Oliver, and she called him to tell him, and she left him a voice message. Yeah, on his fancy answering machine. I don't think that Oliver is capable of using an answering machine, quite frankly.
I know, it's kind of like Columbo using a fax machine. I was a bit surprised because there is a scene where Crimmins and Jessica go to his apartment. They kind of just sleuth around. And everything it looks like it's just, old-fashioned books. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem with it. It
looks like a room that would smell of farts and bad bourbon or something.
Okay. I did not think of that. But the one thing, there is a device that is sticking out. It'd be like going to your grandma's house and she's got a VR set sitting in the corner. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Now, some grandmas might be very well into playing VR.
We gave my grandma one year I gave my grandma a digital picture frame, where you upload your pictures, and I was going to do it and she said, "No, I don't want it," and she gave it back to me. And then years later, my aunt gave her the same thing, and
it's like the best product ever.
Yeah, but the kids, all the kids, if they wanted to send her a photo that would appear on the screen, because it would be like a slideshow, like there'd be X number of pictures, you could email it to this email address, and then it would pop up. And so I go to visit my grandma, and I say, "How you enjoying your picture frame there?" She goes, "Somebody keeps putting cats on there." I'm like, "I'm sorry,
That's you. That's you, Sean.
Oh, okay. All right. I wonder what happened to that.
Knowing you, knowing you, you probably got upset because she didn't like your present, so you probably uploaded some, porno videos or images.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, man. That would be so...
Somebody keeps uploading, dirty photographs.
My grandma... my grandma didn't...
Please take this down.
My grandma didn't sound like that. She was more like, "What are you kids doing? I've got a Chicago accent. I want to die. Nobody can live. I just want to die, Sharon." My grandmother had this thing where she'd be talking to me, and she wouldn't remember my name, so she'd go through all the names of the family before she got to my name. So she'd be like, "Well, I'm telling you, Gail, Bill, Don, Carl, Corinne, Sean." So yeah. Oh, okay. Enough about grandmas.
That's okay. I had a great aunt that called me Richard. If she would have called me, for example, Sean or anything else with an S, Susan, I don't know. You would just think, but no, Richard. I was Richard. But okay, here's a little side story. I'm sorry because
people apparently like this. So yeah.
Because you brought it up. So there was another nephew named Richard.
Oh, okay, yeah,
okay. And now this great aunt, she was extremely wealthy. She never married.
Oh,
she worked. She lived. She lived in probably one of the most expensive parts of Long Island. She's had a ton of money. She never spent it. She just would not spend money. And so when she died, she had a ton of it. So guess which nephew received the majority of the inheritance and who received nothing?
I'm guessing you received nothing.
Yes, and Richard got it all pretty much. There were other nieces and nephews, but I suspect I got nothing. But Richard got a lot.
Well, this sounds like the beginning of a Murder, She Wrote episode almost.
And so, yeah. So, interesting. And she used to always call me Richard, and I, for years, as like, in my college, when I was like college age, I'd be like, no, it's Steven. And then I would try to get, and the funny thing was, Richard, my cousin Richard, hates her, or hated her. He couldn't stand her. He didn't want anything to do with her. Because she was very eccentric, but he didn't want anything to do with her. But I was always the friendly one because I was wanting to get her to remember my darn name. But she ended up passing, and that did no good. She gave it all to her, and I was wondering if maybe she thought I was getting it when in fact,
yeah. I had a great grandfather, my pawpaw's dad. We called him Old Pappy. They were hillbillies, true hillbillies, like from Ohio, Kentucky. If you watch that movie, Hillbilly Elegy, they came from the same part of Ohio that the people from that movie came from. And Old Pappy just lived with my grandma and grandpa, and he was just bedridden in the back room all the time and did nothing but watch TV. I mean, he was like, in my memory, I feel like he would be like Sloth or something from the Goonies. Like all he did was chew tobacco and shit the bed. Well, he didn't know how to pronounce my name because he was an old hillbilly, so he just called me Johnny. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Yeah, he's no longer with us, by the way. So, okay, all right. By the way, when they go to Oliver's apartment or office or whatever the hell it is, I think there's a picture of Patrick McNee as John Steed on the wall, but I may be mistaken. So, yeah.
You know, I saw that. I wondered that as well. I don't know.
So there were
that would have been fun. I was looking for an Avengers prop in his apartment. Like I was scouring his bookshelves for something, some kind of hint, maybe like an umbrella or a top hat, something.
Yeah.
Which I thought would have been kind of fun to add, but
instead there's like a creepy doll on the wall.
What was that? Oh my god!
So there's a message on the answering machine from some director saying, "Oh, come and meet me at this hotel at this time or that time," and then Jessica's like, "Oh no, the message from Emma must be earlier," so they rewind the tape, and then they hear the message from Emma saying something along Oliver.
Love, I didn't want you to be so worried about me.
Now I said earlier that Danny with the bad accent,
Danny.
like that was the worst acting. But I think poor Patrick McNee's audition for Henry IV might be the second worst acting in this.
Really? I thought he did a really good job. I was okay. I had no problem.
I thought it was a little overcooked. I thought he was doing it a little, but I don't know anything about Henry IV.
Well, the apparently the director agrees with you because Oliver bombed the audition.
Yeah.
So. Did he get the part?
Yeah, so they're like, okay, well, what are we going to do now? Oh, I know, let's go to the pub. And, okay, you're going to have to help me here, because the clue needs some explaining.
It needs explaining. Okay. So Jessica takes Oliver and Kitty to the local pub, and she confides in them that, yeah, Emma is alive. Now, Oliver, he's not completely believing her, but Jessica goes, well, I'm a bit surprised that you're surprised by this news because she called you and left you a message on your voicemail. And we found out Oliver said, like, I never listened to my voicemail because I don't know how to use the goddamn contraption. No, he never said that. He never went home. He got day drunk. I think that's what he was saying, in a nice, polite way, because he got a room at a hotel. Yeah. So I'm thinking he got day drunk, and he's like, I just got to lay down somewhere. So, and then, of course, his daughter kind of backs him up, like, yeah, I tucked him in. So maybe they were out drinking together. I don't know. But anyways, Crimmins doesn't believe him because in order for him to have heard the director's message, he would have had to heard Emma's message first because it was in front.
Right.
So so he would have had to heard one before he heard the.
And why did he go?
So
why did he go to meet the director if he hadn't heard the messages? And that's a clue.
Right.
And I love clues. And
do?
Kitty's
Wow,
like,
didn't know
yeah,
that.
Kitty's like, yeah, and I even called you at the hotel at whatever, I can't remember if it was 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or something like that. So I immediately thought, oh no, Oliver's the murderer? It was too obvious. Like, I can't, that doesn't make, and I really thought the episode had gone, but it didn't end that way because Jessica has her concerned face on. Like the, oh wait, this can't be right face as the police haul Oliver away. So
Yeah. So we see a scene where, because now everybody knows Emma's alive, including the mob boss. Danny goes to visit Emma to get her signature on this piece of paper. And Emma's a tough broad. She takes him on and she knocks him out with a plant vase.
yeah.
Which
So then for some reason the police storm in and they're like, oh, we've got our murderer. So they do their second arrest of the episode.
Well, no. So Inspector Cribbins is like, we finally got all man. And Jessica goes, no, I don't think we did.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, golly.
Because it wasn't a man. It was a woo man.
Right, exactly. All right, now, at this point in the story, let me pick your brain, Steve. I mean, let's say before Danny is arrested, because it can't be Danny. If it's Danny, I'm going to be completely let down. It can't be Danny. I mean, he's...
Okay.
So, who do you think it was? At one point, who were you suspecting throughout the episode? I want to know.
I was leaning towards Archie.
Okay.
Maybe his wife. At the time, I thought it was his secretary, but I just didn't want to believe it was Oliver. I didn't think it would be Kitty because I just didn't see the connection there. I wasn't listening to the clues because the clues do point to. I might as well say it. It's Kitty. Kitty is the killer.
Kitty's the killer. Yeah.
Like some of the clues that kind of point her way are the 3 consecutive weekends that someone attempted murder on Emma. Well, that would explain, she doesn't live in the area and she's only able to make it in on the weekends. So that would be the reason why it only happens on the weekends. Another thing is that how did she know that her father was going to be at the audition? She would have had to listen to the messages. What other clues were there?
And that's why she called the hotel. So she must have heard the messages, and she must have known that Emma was still alive, and she must have had access to a fucking little yellow sports car. Why did nobody look into that?
Yeah, I did. Does she have a yellow sports car? Why, yes, she does.
It's like sometimes on these shows, half the time they can trace phone calls. The other half of the time they don't think of it or they can't trace the phone call. Make up your mind. Phone calls are traceable or they're not traceable.
And all you have to do is find a yellow car with a dent in the front left where they hit the person.
Yeah. This is not brain science.
I mean, it has body damage. God, how hard is that? And when you call all the local body shops, like, hey, we're looking for a yellow sports car. If somebody comes in with damage in the front left, call us. I don't know. That doesn't.
There could have been one line where somebody said, "Oh, they found the car. It had been stolen. They found it somewhere. So, oh well, that leaves us nowhere." But then, of course, you got to find somebody who can hotwire a car. But I don't know. Whatever. I'm not.
I don't think Kitty would know how to do that. And maybe it was a car rental. But again, call all the car rental places. Hey, do you have a yellow sports car that's rented out? Does it have front left panel damage? Okay, we need that person's phone number and address.
Yeah.
And name. I don't know. It seems
that would have solved the problem of 2 false arrests and it's okay, whatever. I'm just going to roll with it. I mean, complaining about something like that is kind of complaining about the special effects in classic Doctor Who, or current Doctor Who, for that matter. So you just kind of roll with it, and I don't know. You know, this isn't... I think, I bet you if this was like McLeod or Ironsides, they would look into who, got the car, but no, this is no hard-boiled whatever. This is Murder, She Wrote. So, all
right, you ready for the review?
Yeah,
number?
What is the review number? Oh, by the way, it ends kind of sadly. Like Kitty, it's Kitty, Jess, and Oliver are there, and Kitty just tells Oliver that she did it for him, and she was so tired of him making a fool of himself on the stage, and he just had to move on and all that. And yeah. So go ahead.
Well, and I kind of wish that there would have been kind of one final scene where we see Jessica and I forgot her name.
Emma,
thank you. Jessica, Emma, and Oliver all in, I don't know, a shot, like a reunion of some sort. I would have liked
Yeah, and they're like laughing over wine, and then it freeze frames, and then
finally got Kitty. Oh, she's a horrible daughter. But no, we didn't get that. Okay, so for the number, I picked for this week, I decided to go with an address. We do get to hear where Oliver lives. He lives on 84 Cumberland Mews.
Cumberland Mews.
What would you... Yeah, what would you rate this? 1 out of 84?
Out of 84? I don't really think... I rather enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I thought when it started that they were going to really overuse Emma. Like, they were going to have her and Jessica in a lot of scenes together. So, they would let Jessica... or let Angela Lansbury really act. And they let her... Of course, they let her sing. Like, almost the whole entire song, I think, on screen. And they gave her that, but I don't. What was the number again?
84.
I don't. Other than the thing with the car, I mean, I rate these things number one on how funny they are sometimes. Number two on how difficult the mystery is, and do I keep thinking? And even though I was like you, and part of me kind of thought it was Oliver, like that was my first suspect. When we find out it isn't him, I immediately thought it's Kitty, because she's the only one that could have heard the message on his answering machine. So I did kind of figure it out, because if you went through the progression, it had to be her. I mean, right. And also she has this, like, Kitty is. If you think about it, she doesn't have to be in the story. Like, you could remove... Another one is Violet. Violet doesn't have to be in the story. Kitty doesn't have to be in the story. These are just extensions of other people. So, she is... It turns out that she's an extension of Oliver, and he's her motive. So, yeah, that kind of... Stuff like that kind of sticks out to me when I watch this stuff. So, but otherwise, I thought it was fine. It was a, cool... I could watch worse things in 45 minutes. So I'm going to give it a 68. Okay. 68 out of 84. And that's mostly good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you gave it a 68, actually.
Okay.
I'm glad you liked it that much. So I had problems with this episode. For start, we're the premise of the program is that Emma has faked her death, and she's wanting her cousin from New York to investigate.
Her cousin from Cabot Cove, she's not New York.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, from Cabot Cove, Maine. So she doesn't like inform Jessica that's her plan. Like, hey, someone's trying to kill me. I got to figure it out. What I want to do is fake my death, and I need you to come over here and investigate. No, she goes ahead and on the advice of her solicitor, fakes her death, which I'm sure that's perjury somewhere. I just can't believe that they would do that, including Scotland Yard being in on it. Right?
So yeah, I don't know.
But that doesn't happen. She doesn't fake her death until 11 minutes into the episode. Yes, I timed it. And then 25 minutes into the episode, it's revealed that she called, or we find out later that she called Oliver. She makes everyone aware that she is not actually dead, she's actually alive, which makes it the total time that people think she's dead 15 minutes out of a 48-minute episode. That's not very long.
Uh-huh.
She faked her death for no reason, and she did it because she was horny.
No, she dropped the ball because she was horny, because she wanted a little. She
horny,
wanted a little bit of that Oliver clothes off, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
And I can't believe I laughed like that. Okay, anyways. What else bothered me about this? I'm sorry, I did not enjoy Angela Lansbury's British accent. I just kept thinking I'm watching Jessica pretend to be she's British. I don't know why. It just whatever. It didn't sell. I'm sorry. The fact that someone did die, Bridget O'Hare, is dead because of everything that Emma did. Emma is responsible for her death. If Emma hadn't done this fake death shit, Bridget would still be alive. And at the end, when Kitty, Oliver, and Jessica are at the music hall, and she confesses, it's not that she feels sorry that she tried to kill and failed to kill Emma. It's never brought up that she actually killed Bridget. Like, that's what you're going to go on trial for. But we completely forget about poor Bridget. I mean, that poor woman. So I feel like her death was kind of not even a B plot. It was more like a C plot kind of thing. It was quickly forgotten. Like, that's the murder in Murder, She Wrote.
Okay, yeah. So basically, Emma's a fucking bitch, and she should have been the one that died.
Yeah,
like if she
caused all this. Yeah, and I also got to say that we brought it up earlier in this podcast, was that when Jessica walks into the wake at the music hall, why is not everybody thinking, oh my god, she's pretending to be somebody else? She's not dead. Like, that would be my first thought. Nobody thought that. Or maybe they did, and they were just, everybody else that we saw on camera was stupid.
Yeah, in that...
They even said, like, it's so uncanny how the two of you look alike. I'd be like, it's so uncanny that it's probably because you are Emma.
And then they would try to kill Jessica because they thought that she was Emma. I think...
Well, yeah, I would think Kitty would try to kill... her next target would be Jessica.
That would have been a good ending, where they set it up, where they were going to catch the murderer by having her try to kill Jessica.
Put her in a wig or whatever.
That would be better proof than, you knew that he was at the hotel.
So I felt like this mystery was a waste of my time. I did not like this episode at all. I do not want to ever see it again. I've now seen 2 episodes of Murder, She Wrote. It's an enjoyable show, don't get me wrong. I've now seen 2 episodes that I just do not like, and this is one of them. So out of 84, I'm going to give it a 20.
Well, you know what? I am going to agree with you, and I'm going to revise my score not to be 20.
No.
Okay,
no,
I have to
no,
stick.
No,
I have to
no,
stick with my
cannot.
initial. I can't be. Okay, I can't be persuaded. By the way, I want to see an episode that's featured in the opening theme music. I want to see the one where she shoots the gun that says bang.
I want to see that too. Is that in an episode?
I don't know,
because it's the same intro from season 1 to the episode of season 10 I saw last night. So they never update
at some
that.
point she switches from a typewriter to a computer, though. I know that, and I think that by season 10 she does, but. I don't know. I'm just saying. I want to see somebody like in a sweat in a hoodie push somebody, and just see their shadows and all that. Anyway, okay, that's it with Sing a Song of Murder. We only have 206 more episodes to go. Let's see. We are now going to spin the Murder, She Wrote season 3 wheel. Eric, Steve, if you will.
Holy shit.
No, I just went to open up my phone and there was a text from Eric.
All right.
So if you will just please, I'll leave it in. It will sound natural. Steve, if you will please.
Yeah, right.
If
Then I'm taking a drink. If
you please wait, hold on. Let me find the app before I. Oh wait, no. I mean, let me find the wheel. Oh, my servants are bringing it in. Okay, now they're setting up the wheel, and Steve, you can spin it now. Tell me when you're spinning it.
Okay, I am spinning it.
You know, it's kind of a disappointment.
Now.
Okay, the season 3 wheel sounds exactly like the season 2 wheel. Did you notice that?
So wait, are these consecutive seasons? So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
All right.
So, this sounds interesting. So, the next one we're going to do is called, from season 3, it's called The Corpse Flew First Class. It's a mystery set on an airplane. Watch, it's going to be something completely different. Like
not on Cabot Cove.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be in Cabot Cove. I'm so sorry.
I am going to celebrate the moment we review an episode that actually takes place in Cabot Cove. Now, I'm not talking about a cutaway scene like tonight's episode. I want an official. There's a starts in Cabot. There's a murder in Cabot. And then we finish in Cabot Cove. I'm waiting for it, and we will celebrate appropriately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get the Magnum PI crossover 2-episode story, which I don't even know if we'll be able to watch that. But anyway,
I don't know if I can. Is that on Peacock? Maybe.
It's on the DVD, but I don't know if it's on Peacock. So I don't know. It's not good. It's not good. I don't want it.
All right, so season 3, The Corpse Flew First Class. Okay.
All right. With that, I suppose it's time that we say goodnight. So, Steve, would you say goodnight to the readers?
Do I have to? I'm having so much fun.
Okay, well, we can sit and talk about a movie or something instead. I saw The Conjuring 3 yesterday.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody! Thank you for listening to the Cabot Cove Confab. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a favorable review on Apple Podcasts. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at Cabot Cove Confab or email us at cabotcoveconfab@gmail.com.